Welcome back everyone, this is J7Jace, bringing you some builds with the Summoner. They are one of the more devastating magic users in FFT, and one of the most iconic in the Final Fantasy series, with characters like Rydia, Garnet, and Yuna being some of the most famous. I'll be showing some variants and going over the build I showcased a while back. It was to stack as much magic attack power as you can, while using swiftness to unleash the strongest non-elemental summons like Zodiark and Bahamut. Just keep your faith high for better results when using summon magic. Just not higher than 94, as your character will leave the party unless it's Ramza. Ideally, you want to use a female as they have more MA. Then equip the staff or rod that gives the most magic, like Dreamwaker or Crown Scepter. But if you're on the PS1, use Wizard's Rod. Then use Brass Coronet for the insane MA and immunity to silence, but Lambent Hat is a good alternative. For your robe, you want some MP, so Lordly Robe is best, but Sage's Robe is another nice option. You can also use Wizard's Robe as it gives 2 MA, but it is lacking in HP. Lastly, for your accessory, Sepchim or Mage Power Glove, but I personally like Sepchim for that haste. Onto your abilities, I'm using White Magic here as a secondary, just like the cool summoners Yuna, Garnet, and I would say Eiko too, but I don't want Chris Hansen coming out from behind the door.
Can I get you a glass of milk to go along with those cookies?
But any magic works very well too. Then use Shida Hadori, as this will protect us from most regular physical attacks, even when charging our magic. Swiftness to reduce our cast times, and lastly, Mana Font or Move +3. The main strategy for this build is to target an enemy, wait till our summon is casted, and blow up a bunch of enemies. If you unlock the summoner earlier in Chapter 1 or Chapter 2, use an elemental summon like Shiva or Ramuh. Then equip Ice or Thunder Rod, and MA gear if you can, a robe if possible, and this will be a very deadly build that will do devastating damage. This might be better than black magic at this point, as you don't have to worry about harming your allies. Later on into the game, if you want to use stronger elemental summons, I recommend using Salamander and Leviathan instead. Just equip MA and Japamala to boost elemental damage. I personally like to cast Leviathan because of my love for Final Fantasy VII and Yuffie and Wutai. Additionally, it's also one of the only water elemental abilities in the game as well, and it looks very cool. Some other builds that will work really well with the summoner is to use Arithmetics as a secondary. The summoner's MA is inferior to the Black Mage, but the sprite looks better and he should be doing more than enough damage as well. Just put on Chameleon Robe, sub Swiftness for Arcane Strength, and blow everything up on the map. It is a very overpowered build and easy to use one, but I also find it the most boring. Another fantastic secondary is to use Draw Out, as its damage is based on MA, and is very fitting as well, as we will be summoning and unleashing the power of the katana from within. Just stack as much MA as you can, equip Arcane Strength, and remember to stock up on a lot of katanas just in case they break. Lastly, another very fitting secondary that can be good on the summoner is Speechcraft, as its success is largely based on our MA stat. Using things like Stall on an enemy is very overlooked, or if you want to increase or reduce faith with Praise and Enlighten, a summoner is a great choice. Just stack as much MA as you can for best results. Just remember, you need Beast Tongue to use it on monsters, and I also recommend having best or good compatibility with your designated targets for a higher success rate. These are all my builds and abilities I like to use on the summoner. Even though I prefer swords as I have a thing for knights, the summoners of the Final Fantasy series are just very cool, so I had to remake a video to honor something so prominent and iconic. That is all for this one. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time with more FFT videos. Take care.